The title of this show is In the Face of Overwhelming Forces. One theme that is quite dominant is this idea that stories linger in our bodies. Sometimes we can kind of unleash things that are not verbal at all through our bodies, or just through the sensations or through movement. It's almost like we carry within us a kind of kinesthetic echo of events, and maybe even histories on a broader level. Like in this room where I'm going to show the Western. It's very much derived from the movements of a duel, the circling, the positioning, the gun draw. So these movements, it's almost like when you engage in these movements, you kind of replay the history, so to speak. In the Western, it's like movements I can do, right? So that says a lot, because I don't have much movement experience, mostly from boxing. So the movements are quite, I wouldn't say modest, but they're not hard to do. I mean, drawing a gun, we can do, or pointing a gun, we can do that. Most people can do that. So I think there's a level, I think there's a kind of an entry to the work would be just through identification. And sometimes I can see that because I can see people when they watch it, and even on the laptop, they move when the performer comes forward. So there's a sort of engagement through the body and through being in these spaces, like right now we can smell the wood. It doesn't smell like Camden usually smells. It smells a little different. It smells pleasant. So it has a little touch of old barn. The next room, it's a piece called Maybe This Act, This Work, This Thing, that is co-commissioned by Camden, among others. You see these two vaudeville actors. In a way, they try to channel or try to become a film apparatus or a film camera in order to unleash these powers that this new technology and this technology has kind of spurred. On one level, that's maybe very speculative, but on another level, it's very much how we engage with technology. Every technology comes with a promise, like the internet came with this promise that we were going to be close together, and it would kind of feed more democracy and all these things. People have high hope, almost utopian hopes. Technology is more like a trickster. You always get more than you bargained for. So maybe that kind of mirrors also the title, In the Face of Overwhelming Forces. Technology can be an overwhelming force. It can be something that makes people lose their jobs. All of a sudden, people who have a skill, that skill is not necessary anymore. These two works are very related to cinema because one of them is related to the Western genre, which we mainly know through cinema, and the other one, the idea comes from this time in history when there were so many actors performing vaudeville who in a very few years they were basically obsolete because all the theaters was turned into cinemas. For some reason I just got really interested in praying mantises. Of course, they're known for blending in with the environment. So their strategy, in a way, would be kind of for these overwhelming forces, if we keep that in mind, would be to kind of camouflage them in space at large, camouflage themselves, to become one with what surrounds them. It's a bit different than the vaudeville actors, who I see as they're trying to channel the force. They're trying to internalize the force. Normally people would fight the force, right? When something comes towards them, they try to fight, but they try to internalize it. The vaudeville actors and the mantis, they try to become one with it. Another thing which I'm also very excited about showing, because it's kind of a newish work, is a series of meditations that I did in collaboration with an artist friend, Stefan Petersen, and these are kind of hypnagogic journeys. It's this soundtrack that kind of puts you in the state of almost sleep. But one thing I would really like people to do is to start with the meditations and then see the rest in this slightly spaced out mode. because some people do get quite spaced out by the meditation. You can see it on the eyes. And you also get like slightly spaced out in a way where you're maybe not quite sure that you are still, it lingers in you. I mean, we all know this thing that we take a nap and then we feel the nap. Like 2 hours out later, I can still feel that nap. I feel a little better, You can still feel it like hovering somewhere in the mind and in the body. And maybe I would like that people would do the meditations and then they would kind of see the show and then maybe do another meditation if they feel so inclined. That would be fantastic.